Hello. I was wondering, have you seen this photo before? Don't worry, it's alright. And I haven't either. And I'm pretty sure no one has. But I just want to do something. Take a look around you. If you're in your room, you may see your bed, your chair, your closet, your window, or your clothes that you may like or dislike. And what if one day it was all gone? Well, no. I'll rephrase the question. What if one day everyone in the planet left you to ponder your thoughts on the top of the Eiffel Tower, drinking tea by yourself? Sounds like heaven, doesn't it? But if you're okay, that means you don't have monophobia. But if you're against that, you might have a slight tendency of monophobia. You see, monophobia is the fear of being lonely. Similar to autophobia, it's the fear of being alone or lonely in a situation. Being alone, even in an unusually comforting place like a home, can result in severe anxiety for people with this condition. People with autophobia feel they need another person around them to feel safe. Personally, I do not know how to ail this, but I do know how to trigger it. And for the next minute or so, I'll be playing a montage of pictures of familiarity, with no people, just a picture of a room. Okay, let's check back. Did you find that relaxing? If you did, it's something called liminal space. Liminal space is a concept that's being talked about lately, and if you're like many people, you may have noticed that there are certain places or states of being in which you feel different, off, or uncomfortable. And often, these uncomfortable spaces turns out to be liminal spaces. And fortunately, there is a reasonable explanation for why liminal space feels different. Once you know the source of your feelings about liminal spaces, you can better deal with the feeling when a place makes you a bit unsettled. So first, you learn what the definition of liminal space is and see some examples. Then, we can find out how liminality can be applied to life and creative endeavors. Finally, you'll discover how liminality can define some people's roles in your life and how it may be influencing your feelings towards them. You see, liminal spaces are often physical places. In some case, the same place may be at one time liminal, and other times not. And other places may feel like a liminal space regardless of the time, day, or year that you visit them. And whenever we're at a place during a time that's not usually for that space, it can feel super unsettling for the mind. Or if we're in a liminal space longer than necessary to pass through to our actual destination, we may experience the same feeling of something being really off that we can't quite pinpoint. So, now this usually happens in stairwells or elevators or quite clearly in between spaces or thresholds, like closets, rooms, in between beds, and a wall. The purpose is to get you from one place to another, and that is why lingering in an empty stairwell or elevator can feel a bit creepy with liminal space. Time can have a certain impact. An elevator feels normal during the day when it's crowded, but certainly not late at night. Sometimes, something like a non-functioning lighthouse, abandoning buildings, or spaces that function. The unsettling suspect comes in because they once performed a role and had people in them. Once abandoned, the lights are always out and they stand as husks of civilization. This also may be triggered in terminals or airports, are places that only act as a waiting space, something that people are usually in, but nobody is in it. See, the destination of the plane is an eventual new location, and other liminal spaces exist, like train stations, and etc. If you think of places that leave you in between your usual activities, you will likely think of others. But I think that's enough liminal space for today. Liminal space can be super confusing for the people who don't fully understand it yet, and I understand. I'll turn this off for now. Thank you for joining today, and make sure don't get trapped in a paradox.